Hey everyone, my name is Shane, for those of you who don't know me. And for starters, I just want to thank you all for joining me on this process and embarking on a journey to learning more about yoga, learning more about yourself, and having a great time and building a bunch of awesome strength along the way. So how this works is that I'm going to be posting about a 30-minute video of a yoga practice each day on my YouTube channel for the next 30 days. So at 8 a.m. on Eastern time. Today, the first video is going to be uploaded at 8 p.m. tonight, and then following the first video, they're going to be starting to come up in the morning so that you have the whole day to complete them and stay up with the challenge. The videos are 30 minutes long generally, but it's very easy to shorten them or lengthen them. I don't really include more than like a minute of Shavasana, just to suggest to you guys that you can lay there for as long as you'd like. Along with that, if you shorten or lengthen your poses, that's going to increase or decrease the time as well. So it's totally up to you. These practices could easily be made into an hour, and they could easily just be a 10-minute warm-up, a 10-minute body, or a 10-minute cool down if you want to do that. But the second part of the challenge is entering for a chance to win free apparel. So essentially what you have to do is subscribe to my page, follow my Instagram at Shane the Mindful Yogi, and then participate in the challenge. Throughout the challenge, you're going to need to take 3 photos. Day 0, before you take your first practice, day 15 at the halfway mark, and then day 30 at the end of your last practice. I would highly encourage you to maybe pick a pose that you want to try and improve upon throughout the 30 days, and maybe that be your photo. But either way, these photos can come at the very end of the 30 days with a caption saying how you enjoyed the process, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you've learned. So yeah, and doing all those things will enter you in the challenge. If you help promote the challenge in any way or get one of your friends to do it with you, let me know through Instagram DMs, and that'll give you an extra entry into the challenge as well. So essentially, I really just want you to remember that this is for you guys. So really make of it what you want, change it if you want, make it your own however you need. This is a time where you're gonna learn how to listen to your body and know what it needs and what it's asking for. And I'm just really excited, and I hope you guys are too. So day 1 is going to be about getting stretchy. We're gonna start to stretch and do a flow for our splits. So grab a mat, grab yourself, and meet me standing at the top of your mat, and I'll see you there. I'm back for one last thing. I highly encourage you to supply your own music. I decided I'm not gonna add music because if you're playing your own music but want to hear my voice, and you have my voice and music and your music, like that's gonna stink. So make a playlist. You're more than welcome to message me for my playlist, and I will share that with you, but I just did not add music into the practices. Thanks.
In your seated position, begin to find your breath, inhaling 4 and exhaling 4 through the nose. Relax your jaw and your shoulders, and start to awaken the soul. From here, we're going to take our right arm and reach over and place it on our left ear for a gentle neck stretch. Continue to focus on your breath. Drop the right arm to the floor and bring the left arm over the head and across the body for a side stretch. Inhale, lengthen the back. Return your hand to the floor, and we're going to repeat on the other side. So take your left hand and bring it across your head onto your right ear for another neck stretch on the right side. Inhaling 4 and exhaling 4. Drop the left hand to the floor and bring the right arm up over the head, opening up the chest and the shoulders for a side stretch. Find yourself back in a seated position. Inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, twist and place the left hand on the right knee. place the right hand behind you. Exhale, return to center, and then switch sides. Your right hand should be on your left knee, and your left hand should be supporting you in the back. Inhale, straighten the back and expand the chest. Return to center for a final forward fold in your seated position. From here, we're going to find ourselves in our tabletop position. Come onto your hands and knees. Your wrists should be in a line with your shoulders, and your knees should be beneath your hips. We're going to start by rocking back and forth to warm up our wrists. You can go as slowly or as quickly as you like, but focus on your breath and listen to your body and what your wrists need. After rocking back and forth, you can start to rock from side to side. And from here, you can start to rock in circles, clockwise, and then counterclockwise. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. After you feel like you've warmed up your wrists enough, you can then rotate your hands so that your fingertips are facing the long edge of your mat. From here, we're going to repeat the process, rocking forward and backwards, side to side, and then making circles with the body. You should repeat this process with your hands facing forward, your fingers facing out to the mat, and then your fingers facing your legs and your body. Really take your time to warm up the wrists, as within these next 30 days, we will be asking a lot of them, and we're really going to be building the strength in our wrists, and we have to start slow by warming them up a good deal. Be sure to engage the core, tuck the toes for more support. That's in general for anything that we're doing in tabletop. Tucking the toes will give you more support. From here, we're going to untuck our toes and sit back on our heels and do some wrist rolls. So we're going to start by taking our right hand and taking our thumb and our pointer finger and wrapping them around our left wrist. We're going to roll our wrist clockwise and counterclockwise. We want to do this on both sides for a fair amount of time. After our wrist rolls, we're going to do hands in prayer. So bring your hands in prayer and take your right palm and place it on the floor over to the left side of your body. You want to apply pressure with the left hand on top of the right and roll out both of your wrists. Repeat this on both sides. Flow back and forth between both sides at your own pace, remembering to stay in touch with your breath. If you ever feel yourself floating away during a yoga practice, your breath is the easiest thing to think of to come back to your center. After doing hands in prayer, we're going to stretch our toes by tucking the toes and sitting on our heels. Option to do hands in eagle pose. But either way, I recommend stretching out the chest and the shoulders and opening up the heart. From here, we're going to stretch the ankles by untucking the toes, placing our hands by our hips for support, and rocking back and lifting our knees off the ground. Listen to your body and get a nice stretch in your ankles. When you feel warmed up in your ankles, we're going to Untuck the toes, lift the hips, send the tailbone back, and press back into downward dog. Pedal out the heels as needed, and be sure to take your time. When you feel ready, meet me in mountain or standing pose at the top of your mat. From standing, we're going to inhale, bring the arms overhead, exhale into forward fold. We're going to step our feet back, press the heels into the ground for downward dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up into the air. Exhale, bend the knee and rotate the leg clockwise and counterclockwise to awaken the hip. Exhale, bring the left foot forward in between your hands and plant it on the floor. Drop the right knee to the floor. Option to grab the foot. Inhale, lift the right knee off the floor. Exhale, bring your hands to heart and twist to the left. Hook your right elbow over the left knee. Inhale, twist to the other side. Hook your left elbow on the right side of your left knee. Inhale, plant your hands back on the ground and step your foot back into downward dog. Inhale, sweep the right foot into the air, bend at the knee, and rotate the leg clockwise and counterclockwise. Be sure to keep the foot on the floor planted on the ground and your hips square. Exhale, bring the right foot in between your hands on the floor. Drop the left knee, option to grab the back foot. Inhale, lift the left knee off the ground. Bring your hands to prayer and twist to the right, hooking your left elbow on your right knee. Exhale, switch sides. Option to open the arms to get a deeper stretch. Exhale, place the hands back on the floor and step the foot back into downward dog, and slowly walk your feet forward and stand up. Inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale for a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back into plank, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, arching the back. Exhale, send the tailbone back for downward dog. Inhale, step the feet forward for a halfway lift. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Sun Sal A. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back, lower into plank for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the feet forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to standing. Flow through Sun Sal A at your own pace. This is a great exercise to fire up the soul and warm the body while challenging yourself to listen to your breath and move to your breath. Feel free to flow with me or at your own pace. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right and left foot forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand. Continue to flow. Forward fold, halfway lift. Step the feet back, lower into chaturanga. Option to lift the foot. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Option to step, jump, or hop forward. Halfway lift, forward fold, standing mountain pose. Keep flowing. Staying in touch with your breath and maybe picking up the pace a tiny bit. You're doing an awesome job, and we're nearly halfway through our practice today. After finishing your last sun sal, we're going to meet in standing mountain pose. Once you find yourself here, we're going to inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to grab our hands to our opposite elbows and rock back and forth for ragdoll. Exhale, plant the hands on the floor and step back into downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up into the air. Exhale, bring the foot down in between the hands and drop the left leg. Option to grab the left foot. Inhale, bring the right foot across to the left side of the body, making a 90-degree angle or less for pigeon pose. The goal is to keep your hips square while also getting a stretch as deep as you can. If you have props, you can place a block under your left hip for support. It does not matter how low your hip is to the floor so long as you are trying to keep your hips square. Inhale, bring the left leg around to the front side of the body. We're going to stack our shins for log pose. Interlace the fingers behind the back of the body and fold forward for a stretch. Exhale, roll forward through the body and uncross the legs and step into tabletop, finding our way back down into downward dog. We're going to repeat this on the left side. Inhale, sweep the left foot. Exhale, plant the foot in between the hands, dropping the right leg, option to grab the right foot. Exhale into pigeon pose, bringing the left foot across to the right side of the body. Option to fold forward for an added stretch. Remember to focus on keeping the hips square. Inhale, bring the right leg around and stack the shin on top of the left shin. Interlace the fingers behind the back and forward fold. Be sure to stay in touch with your breath. Exhale, release your hand. From log forward fold, we're going to begin to come into our tabletop position. Once you're back in tabletop, you're going to send your hips up and back and your heels into the floor for downward dog. Inhale, step both feet forward, hip width apart, and begin to squat as low as you can to the ground so that your bottom is just barely hovering. This is called garland pose. Bringing your feet closer together will increase the challenge, but we want to bring our hands into prayer and put our elbows in between our thighs by the knees to press them outwards to get the hip stretch. From garland pose, we're going to come back to standing forward fold. Take the time to pedal out your feet here, one leg at a time, and focus on your breath. The goal is to get your chest to your thighs, not to be able to bend over with straight legs. So if you have to bend your knees to get your chest to your thigh, then that's totally okay and really favored over keeping your legs straight and not being able to bend over. Feel free to stand up on your tippy toes, wiggle the ankles in circles. Just listen to your body. Feel free to move around. Do what feels good. On the exhale, we're going to step our left foot back about a foot, and we're going to remain forward folded. For an added stretch, we can do opposite hand to opposite elbow behind our backs. Exhale, rotate the toes so they're both facing the long edge of the mat and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and face the opposite direction so that your right leg is now in the back and your left foot is in front for a forward fold. Opposite hands to opposite elbows for an added stretch. Inhale, step both feet forward and rise into standing. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left foot up into the air and plant it in between your hands. Returning into a side lunge. Flow back and forth from side to side at your own pace. You want to aim to keep your heel flat on the floor while engaging the thigh muscles and opening the hip. Again, you can always use that elbow and arm to press the knees wider. Option to flow into lizard pose. Option to stay into side lunge flow. If you choose to do lizard pose and are stretching out your hip by pressing on the knee, you should be sure that your toe is following the same direction of your knee. After flowing through side lunge, you're going to stop in the center and drop down into frog pose. The goal is to have your thighs at a 90-degree angle, and it doesn't matter if you're high, low, or touching the ground. The goal is to just get a deep stretch. After frog pose, find yourself on your back for figure 4. Take your left leg and hook the right foot over the right thigh. The left foot over the right thigh for your figure 4. You can grab the shin or the thigh and pull towards your body for an added stretch. Finally, we're going to unhook our legs, grab both of our big toes or our heels, bend the knees and pull them towards the floor and rock back and forth for happy baby. While you're on your back, feel free to flow through figure 4 or happy baby. If your hips are feeling loose enough, you have the option to go into cow pose. This involves crisscrossing your thighs completely and grabbing your feet and holding onto them for the stretch. If not, finish up your last pose and meet us in a seated position with our legs spread out as wide as we can. Exhale, forward fold. You're welcome to stretch to the right and left side of your leg, or to just remain in the middle. Option to halfway lift and forward fold flow. Don't forget about your breath. On your next exhale, bring your feet together at the center for butterfly pose. Use your elbows or your hands to apply pressure on your thighs or knees to deepen the stretch. Feel free to forward fold. Again, you have the option to do cow face pose, which requires crisscrossing your thighs over the top. If there's a gap between your knees, you can place a block there or just apply pressure. But remember to be gentle. If you're doing cow face, be sure to rotate sides. If you're still in butterfly, continue to take your time to stretch out. Make your way to downward dog before inhaling with the left leg forward and exhaling into pigeon pose. We're going to repeat the flow of sweeping the leg back and pressing into pigeon pose. Slow at your own pace. So inhale, sweep the leg back into the air. Exhale, pull the leg forward and drop down into pigeon pose. After your last rep, switch sides. This flow in particular is specifically meant to help with your splits, along with all the other exercises we've been doing today. You'll soon start to develop a dominant and weak side, and we want to be sure to give extra attention to our less flexible leg. Finish up your downward dog to pigeon flow. After your last rep, we're going to transition into our next flow. The next flow is going to start in pigeon pose with an option to grab the back foot. Whether you grab the back foot or not, the next step is to plant your hands, to lift your back knee off of the ground, and to plant your right foot on the outside of your right hand. This is lizard pose. The flow is consisting of pigeon, option to grab the back foot, planting the hands, lifting to lizard pose. So we're really working on mobilizing our hips and our thighs, and it's much better to keep moving than to hold static stretches. So continue the flow on the same leg. Lizard pose, drop to pigeon pose. Challenge yourself to reach back for that back foot, plant the hands, and then switch sides. Option to apply extra pressure in lizard pose to your thigh, pressing it out for a bit of a deeper stretch. Option to rock in lizard pose. But a lot of the extra motions you're going to see me doing are just little things that I've developed through listening to my body. By no means do you need to start off with those or feel obligated to do them. Sticking to the flow is just fine. For warm down, we're going to meet in standing wide-legged, facing the long edge of our mat. We're going to inhale, lift the arms overhead, and exhale into a wide-legged squat. Dropping down into garland. Feel free to rotate back and forth and rock the hips. Inhale, extend the legs and forward fold into wide-legged forward fold. Take a few breaths here. Feel free to lift halfway on your inhale and lower back down on your exhale. Begin to heel the toe of the feet together to meet for a regular forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. From here, we're going to try our first split. Slowly ease your way into the split, and if you have a block, feel free to press that beneath your hips. Wherever you are now, be proud of yourself. You've loosened up your body for the first time, potentially, for 30 minutes. This is a big deal. And so even if you don't have a split, that's okay, because by the end of these 30 days, you will find yourself much closer than you did just now. Try doing a split on both legs. This is another way to help you figure out which leg is more flexible than the other. Splits are a great pose to start working on when you first start doing yoga. So if you're competing in my challenge, this would be a great day 0 photo to take of you trying to do your first split. When I first started doing splits, I was nowhere near the ground, and it took me about a month to get them. So if I can do it, you can too. After you're done playing around with your splits, do a forward fold and give yourself some love. We're going to finish the practice in Savasana. Find a comfortable spot on your back. Relax the body from head to toe, loosening the jaw, dropping the tongue from the roof of the mouth, and relaxing the body. Recentering your breath, letting whatever thoughts come into your mind leave just as calmly as they entered. You're welcome to lay here for as long as you like. I recommend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. My videos will not have me laying here for 5 to 10 minutes because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So just Shavasana in the videos is going to be quite a bit shorter. But feel free to mute me and lay there for as long as you like. Unmute me and resume the video when you've finished. When you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle your hands and your toes. Start to bring movement back to your body, and when you're ready, you can flicker the eyelids, move the jaw or the mouth, roll the shoulders, and when you're ready, turn onto your side before gently pressing yourself up and finding yourself in a seated position. You're welcome to keep your eyes shut throughout this entire process. Thank you so much for joining me in day 1 of 30 minutes of yoga practice. I hope you got a little something out of today and can bear with me as I'm very new at using YouTube and iMovie. I hope you had a great practice, and I hope to see you tomorrow. The light that lives with me honors the light that lives within you. I hope you can carry this good vibes into the rest of your day. Thank you for enjoying my class. My name is Shane Saribi. Namaste.